What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? I am Jason. I am joined by Mr. Always Late but Never on Time, Mr. John Orlando.
Hey, you know what? I gotta say, kudos to Justin, our producer, for the new intro. That was the second time I've seen it, and it still makes me chuckle. It still makes
like how you went out for a professional photo shoot in order to send him a photo.
I don't even know where that photo's from, to be honest with you, man.
Oh, I do. Professional photo shoot.
Well, man, it's been a busy day here at Casadela, Orlando. But how are things with you, Jason?
Good, man. I worked all day, and I watched Police Academy 1 on VHS.
Oh.
So that has been the extent of my day. Review coming soon. But, yeah, it's been a pretty good day. I watched another Christmas movie. Got to record a couple of reviews tonight. I watched Black Phone. Yeah, it's been a pretty busy 24 hours. I reached out to like 35 different agents last night looking for interviews and stuff. So I'm waiting to hear back on some of that. But got a fun one. I think I sent it to you, but I don't want to announce it here yet.
Mm-hmm. It is a fun one. I was, even though I'm not a big fan of the media property, like I'm a casual fan. That's still pretty awesome.
I'm talking about the one I sent last night. He was in a movie that we've referenced on this show quite a few times.
Oh, I'll have to go back and look that up.
Yeah. But
I thought you were talking about today's.
No. Today's is pretty good too.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a few of them. I can't wait. I'm so excited. We got a whole little interview team now, which we'll see how it goes.
All right. Sounds like a plan, man. What do you
got? I'm sorry. I got to say it. So I have this Angry Orchard, and it comes with 2 apples inside each can. So does that make it a beer smoothie?
I don't know. What's the consistency of the apples? Are they mushy?
Doesn't matter, but I mean, it's got 2 apples in it. So wouldn't that make it a smoothie?
I guess. Sure.
Kind of.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Anyway, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, what are your holiday plans? Since, when this, we truth be told, being transparent, we recorded this in advance because I'm in Rhode Island for Christmas. So what are your Christmas plans, Jason?
Well, for Christmas, man, I went to my grandma's house and we had a great time. And then Christmas Eve evening, me and my daughter came home. We opened up her gifts and then rolled over to Max and Liz's for the morning and my mom and dad's in the afternoon. And then we came home and binged the 3 episodes of Stranger Things that dropped a couple days ago.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good deal, man. Good deal. Sounds very busy, where mine is going to be nice and relaxing. So I'm excited to visit with my mom and stepdad and also just chill and relax,
Yeah, those 3 episodes of Stranger Things, guys, intense.
You already watched them?
Hey, man, I am in the character of 3 days after Christmas. We're in 2 different times.
All right. See, I was being totally transparent. You were a liar. That's basically what you were doing.
I was being true to the day that this airs.
Okay.
Daniel Snow is going nuts in the comment section right now. He's so confused if we're live or not live.
Oh, well, it's probably right about time where we talk about what we've been watching. Do you have any highlights of things that you've been watching?
Landman is the one that I've been really digging. They just brought in Sam Elliott. He plays the Billy Bob Thornton's character's father. That is such a good show. Such a good show. It makes me want to go watch Yellowstone, but there's so many spinoffs to Yellowstone. I just feel like it'll be too much. But I might watch Yellowstone because I really like Landman.
Well, I watched a Christmas movie that I've never seen before. And,
did you?
Yeah, I watched the other night White Christmas with Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney, and Danny Kaye. I like it, but it has nothing to do with Christmas. Like,
I want to see it.
You have seen it, or you want to see it?
No, I want to see it.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. But the Christmas aspect of the movie doesn't come till the last half hour of the film. So it's kind of like the first whole part, you might as well say 75% of the movie at the beginning, you're like, okay, this isn't really a Christmas movie. And then, oh, wait, there's this one little aspect, this one little storyline, and it makes it, Christmassy. But I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of cheap.
I've still got to watch It's a Wonderful Life, which is my favorite Christmas movie, but I just saw for the first time, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And then I need to watch Miracle on 34th Street. I watched that for the first time last year, so this year I'm going to watch the remake.
I still have to watch the He-Man She-Ra Christmas special that
Yes,
I have
you
on
do.
DVD. I watch it every year. That and then Life and Adventures of Santa Claus.
Yes, I need to watch Garfield's Christmas. That's my love Garfield.
Cool. All right, well, then Jason, if we're done with that, and it's a little bit of a longer Matlock episode, shall we go ahead and jump into our opening statements?
There we go. I'm getting rid of this other one. I don't know why Justin didn't delete it. There we go.
All right. Anyways, all right. We have a few guest stars that we need to talk about. One of which I think is pretty recognizable, and that is Scott Bryce. He will be playing the role of Elliot Eagleton. You may also know him as Craig Montgomery on As the World Turns, Will Forrest on several episodes of Murphy Brown, Frank Drexler on Deception, Senator Tom Wesley, and then Senator Tom Preston. I don't know. The role was on a show called Beacon Hill. I'm not sure why he has two different names, but there you go. Rupert Lennox in The Good Fight. You may also know him as Major Foster in Homeland. Dr. Crosby on One Life to Live. Philip Engel on Homicide, Life on the Streets. James Pavlik on L.A. Law, and a good amount of other films and TV shows that he starred in, according to his IMDb page.
I do want to throw in there one guest star before you get to your next one, John. In this episode, we had the guest star Daniel Roebuck guest starring in this episode.
Well, you know what? We'll talk about Daniel Roebuck here in a little bit, if you will. Actually, I'm afraid if I start mentioning it now, I'll ruin my my prediction for how many gavels that I'm going to say that I enjoyed or just didn't enjoy on this episode. Next guest star, Robin Gamble as Marvin Estes. You may know him as Jeffrey in Bulworth. Archdiocese person number 2 in Sister Act 2. Walt in Skyline. Judge Salinger on Judging Amy. Dr. Herzog on Dark Skies. Arthur Sutherland on Amazing Grace. Stephen Douglas in Lincoln, the TV miniseries, not the movie. Judge Englander on LA Law, and then Jacob Hale Sr. in The Blue and the Gray, another Civil War miniseries, if you will. Anything you'd like to mention about Mr. Robin Gamble?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, let's move on to our next guest star is H. Richard Green. He'll be playing the role of Ron Welker. You may also know him as Jim Hobart from Mad Men. Mr. Cooper on The Wonder Years. Judge Hingham on Boston Legal. The NASA tech in Armageddon. Senator Beatty on The Last Ship. Senator Robert Royce on The West Wing. Mr. Sullivan in The Time of Your Life. Mr. Hendricks on Picket Fences. James Nettles on Cagney and Lacey, and a whole host of other credits to his name. He seemed to have like a particular typecast. Either he was the dad or he was a cop or a legislator.
I mean, dads are in a way cops, especially if they have daughters.
Well, our last guest star is Michael Horton, who will play the role of Rick Stafford. You may know him as Lieutenant Daniels in Star Trek Insurrection, Coven on Star Trek Voyager, security officer in Star Trek First Contact, Captain Cargill in Dances with Wolves, Richard Hughes in Pacific Palisades, Grady Fletcher on Murder, She Wrote, another one of the nephews of Jessica. John Jameson on Spider-Man the Animated Series. Various characters on the Gem cartoon. Mark Geiser in The Blue and the Gray. And he also appeared as 56 different characters on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Rogers.
I know. I'm a big fan as well. Staple of my childhood. All right. Then with that, Jason.
Hold on. We got Renee Coleman, the very beautiful Renee Coleman. John's just going to go right past her. But don't worry, folks. I got your back, to the guy who complained that we forget people. She starred as Jennifer Downing in Who's Harry Crumb? Aaliyah in Quantum Leap. LF, A League of Their Own. I mean, those are three great titles right there. I have not seen Who's Harry Crumb yet, because I like to stretch out my John Candy films, because I love him so much that I like to know that there's new ones out there for me to visit. Yes, and she got a bunch of other credits. It looks like she retired from acting in 1995. I'm going to reach out to see if she wants to be a guest on MatTalk.
Time out. She had a lot of roles, you said? I don't think so.
I mean, I said various roles. Yeah, she's in at least a couple dozen.
Anyways. All right. With all due respect,
John discriminates against the amount of roles that people are in.
That is incorrect by multiple different reasons.
And the amazing Warren Frost as Billy Lewis.
Billy Lewis, of course. All right. Well, Jason, are you ready to for me to ask you a question? A very important question. The question that I want you to answer as honestly as you can, so help you.
I do, John.
Then it's time to testify. All right, the plot of this episode, which, by the way, is called The Fortune, and its original air date was February 18th, 1993. But the plot: an eccentric millionaire dies, and a plethora of women come forward as executors, and Ben suspects that foul play is at hand. So we go to the opening scene, where, again, it's the no traffic ATL, and we see a homeless man wandering around a homeless camp. Then we see a guy in a suit jacket looking around the camp, and he is seen arguing with the homeless man. The homeless man ends up at a marina, and actually the homeless man is Mr. Estes, and he has his own yacht or boat, whatever you want to call it, and he interacts with the security guard who has let his nephew Rick Stafford on board. And I wrote down, is this an episode of Undercover Boss?
It might be.
Well, anyways, Estes, he's got a little bit of OCD. He's got an OCD hand-washing ritual that he does, so he's going to mention that quite a bit. Rick and Estes argue about Rick being cut out of the will. Rick was kind of helping Estes to do like all of his investments and whatnot, keeping track on those. Well, that angers Mr. Estes, and he throws Stafford off the boat. So we cut to a scene at night. An alarm sounds, and the security guard leaves Mr. Estes' boat, goes down to the parking lot, finds out that a car alarm is going off because somebody ripped out the stereo. And in the meantime, someone kills Estes by stuffing a bunch of pills down his throat. Which, didn't we just see this like a few episodes ago where somebody else was killed by having stuff down their throat, pills?
I think so.
Yeah, it's one of the ones. I can't remember which one it was, and this is where it would be handy to have Daniel here because he knows them like that. But yeah, we had that not too long ago. I want to say towards the end of last season we had that.
Maybe. I don't remember. It's been a lot of television with motives and people killed. I can't keep them. We need like a spreadsheet.
We do. But I hate doing spreadsheets. If only we could dupe one of our listeners into doing the spreadsheet for us, that'd be killer.
Yeah, benmattalk@gmail.com. Thank you, folks.
There you go. Or drop us a line on Facebook. MatTalk Podcast on Facebook as well. So the security guard, he gets back on the boat and hears a big splash. So he goes over to the side of the boat, and he doesn't see anything. So we cut to a scene at Ben's home. Ben is on the phone with Billy. Billy wants him to invest in a toy company. Elliot arrives, and he is Mr. Estez's attorney. And Ben is the executor of Mr. Estez. And the way that happened was so weird that in the courthouse, going to the bathroom, Ben was washing his hands. Mr. Estez, Marvin is his first name, shows up, uses the bathroom. There's no more soap. So Matlock goes and gets some soap for him. And so he makes him his executor of his will.
Because that's the nicest thing anybody had ever done for him. And I'm going to kind of play my hand a little bit. This episode is guaranteed to get at least one gavel because Billy Lewis and Matlock's continuity is the best continuity in this entire series.
All right. Okay.
Even more so than Ben's and Julie's, because Ben's and Julie's changed every episode.
All right. Okay. So Ben, basically, he's got to find this woman named Teresa Lavelle. And if so, he'll get 2% of $200 million. And so Cliff makes his return. Cliff and Leanne are going to go through some stuff on Marvin's boat. They find a bunch of love letters. But the weird part is Estes has both sets of letters, like the ones he sent and the ones he received, which is a little bit weird. Another weird thing, all liquid aspirin, no pills. He doesn't take pills. So Billy, back to Matlock's house, Billy pitches this idea of the ugly toy doll. Billy wants Ben to invest. And I couldn't think, like they talked about, oh, ugly's all the rage. And I'm like, yeah, in the 90s it would have been, because you would have had My Pet Monster. You would have had Mad Balls. You would have had Garbage Pail Kids, et cetera, et cetera. So
they didn't mention any of those in the ugly doll category. I was like, Cabbage Patch Kids aren't ugly.
Oh, ridiculous.
Sorry, Billy, you're a treasure.
Well, Billy needs 10,000 K, and Ben says no. And as Billy's leaving the house, he stops Leanne, who's coming in the door, and says, "Would you buy this for your kid?" And she says, "Well, maybe. It's kind of cute." And then that means that Billy has to retort with, "Jackass." So Cliff and Leanne tell Ben what they found. And Estes has a phobia regarding taking pills. But the weird part is Estes died of an overdose of sleeping pills. Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the security guard, Ben, and a cop named Lieutenant Andrews talk about the night of the crime. And when Ben brings up a lover, does Marvin have a lover? The guard is totally surprised by that and like taken back.
Mm-hmm.
We then get a very nice establishing shot of Ben's home, which I don't think we've ever gotten that straight on shot to take a look at it. It was something I found to be interesting.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've been in poor Billy's sister.
Well, don't get me started on that. Cliff is making lunch in the house. Leanne brings her copies of the letters.
With lots of tomatoes surrounding the sandwich.
Yeah, that sandwich was gross. I'm just going to say that was disgusting.
You don't like tomatoes?
I'm not a big fan of raw tomatoes, no.
Oh, see, I do. I like tomatoes.
Yeah,
I don't know if I put that many tomatoes on there, but something about a cheeseburger with a big tomato and mustard. Oh, it's so good.
So Teresa typed her letters, and there's a little bit of some clues. She has green eyes, brown hair, Crystal Beach they meet. And so Cliff and Leanne are trying to eat healthy, but the food is so gross that they end up having cookies for lunch. But after a small break in the looking at the love letters, they start to watch TV, and there's a TV news report on the Estes killing, and they say it might be a murder, not a suicide. So we cut to a zoo. Why? Why not? That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to reveal a little bit of my hand here. Yeah, Why not have a zoo?
Yeah, John doesn't like zoos, folks.
I'm indifferent about zoos.
There's too many people at zoos. I don't like zoos. I mean, I don't mind going to see the animals and stuff, but we live in Columbus, and it's one of the more popular zoos, and it's always too many people. Especially now, like for the lights and stuff. So stupid. Like, it's beautiful to go, but it's stupid. There's too many people.
Well, we cut to the zoo where Rick and Ron Welker argue about getting rid of the zoo because the zoo's just dumping. It's losing money left and right. And Ron was all about, hey, you know, it happens. Give it some time. And Rick makes the allegation that he thinks somebody's embezzling money, which angers Ron. Lieutenant Andrews is waiting for Rick. And so Rick kind of argues a little bit with him. And we notice that there's a strange guy who's eavesdropping, who's dressed like an employee. Leanne is at the beach. She is looking for Teresa. She finally finds Teresa because of Jake the dog. And at this point, I'm like, so you just randomly take a person that has a, you know, I don't know what kind of dog that was, like a golden retriever or whatever. You have that, and that's the only real evidence you have that this person's Teresa?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. Like I said, that was a little bit weird for me. So Teresa Lavelle goes back to police headquarters, and she's interviewed by Leanne. She said that she was having an affair with Marvin Estes, and that her husband was a poet and a writer, and he's very sensitive. But then we find out there's multiple Teresas. All right, because the name...
Sorry, I was looking for a good section to bang a gong. Continue.
Okay. Anyways, so Teresa's name was leaked on the TV news. So there's a million Teresas out there, and they all want the money. So this would be a time where if we didn't care about copyright, we would play Gold Digger. But we won't because we care about copyright, especially for EPMD.
Ugh. Oh, yeah, you're talking about the EPMD version. Okay, good.
Yeah. Not that other version. Ugh.
I used to like that other version, but I don't like that person anymore, so I no longer like that other version.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, okay. So Ben goes to Teresa's home. And man, oh man, Jake does not dig Ben.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, under any circumstances that I write down this, do I believe that Teresa and Marvin would be a couple. I don't believe that right now. And on top of that, Miss Coleman's acting, the individual that portrayed Teresa, I think is a little bit mid. It's not very good. Teresa gave back the love letters to Marvin because she didn't want him laying around in her house for her husband to find. So Stuart arrives, and he's all fired up. Stuart is Teresa's husband. And Stuart makes it clear that since he's going to get a divorce, he wants to make some cash money, yo. And so Ben says, look, man, when everything gets settled, I'll make sure you get your money. All right. And then there's some more fun with Jake the dog as Ben leaves the house. So at this point, Jason, do you have anything you want to mention real quick or discuss further or whatnot?
No, not really.
Okay, cool. All right. We find out that Billy made some money on the toy, right? Which I forget what it's called. Weird Wally, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then Cliff also shares some info on the Lavelle's alibi. But Ben says that he doesn't believe the dog's name is actually Jake and that this is not the real Teresa. That Teresa Lavelle, as we know it, is a fake, a phony, if you will.
Yeah. They're in it for the money.
Mm-hmm. Cliff, by the way, was fixing a lamp. And of course, with a little a little comedy, he blows the circuit in the house.
Yeah, it's nice seeing Daniel Roebuck guest star on this episode.
Yeah, because it's been a very long while since we've seen Daniel Roebuck, friend of the show, by the way, be on this episode. So let's go back to the zoo. Lieutenant Andrews interviews Rick. There's a credit card receipt that is found in the car that had the stereo stolen, and that proves that Rick was the one who set off the alarm and then killed Estes. So that means that Rick is arrested. We go back to Ben's home, where some cooking is being done by Leanne, who tells her father 3 times, "Don't eat from the pan." And then I wrote this down because I can't believe that it was in the script. Leanne swats her old man on the tuchus. I felt like that was something that probably was a little bit out of character for Leanne. But I don't know. There's going to be an episode where Leanne really gets a little bit inappropriate, shall we say, I believe, with one Ace Calhoun. So
spoilers, John.
Spoilers. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Anyways, Ron and Elliot are in cahoots to sell the zoo. All right. And the employee that we talked about just a few moments ago, his name is Nick. And they all want to just get rid of this with Rick Stafford out of the way. There's nobody to stand in their way, that they are basically going to just destroy this zoo and take it for what it's worth. Right. So we go to the police headquarters, and Ben is helping Rick, and they talk about the facts of the case. And there was this thing about Sherlock Holmes that was mentioned early in the episode, one of the first scenes with Marvin. And he told Rick about, hey, the snakes in the snake house, or the serpents in the snake house, something along those lines. I like that Ron was wearing a leather sports jacket. We need to bring that back. What say you, Jason? Men need
I want leather sports. Yes. It's amazing.
I mean, nothing says big baller more than having a leather sport coat.
1,000%.
So Leanne interviews Ron, and she drops the hint that she says she heard that Ron was messing up the zoo, and that he ordered too many lions, and he defends it, saying that sometimes you have to buy more lions and then sell them at a reduced cost, yada, yada, yada. All the while, Nick and Elliot were in the other room eavesdropping. So Leanne is leaving, but she notices that Nick and Elliot are talking to one another. She notices that from afar. We go back to Ben's home. Billy is there, and the toy isn't flame retardant. So Ben has to help Billy with a lawsuit because he's an investor and he's a majority owner of the stock. And the fact that this toy could catch on fire is going to put everybody in the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Pun intended. Leanne, thank you. Leanne calls to report her happenings at the zoo. And meanwhile, Ben and Cliff, not Conrad, are on the boat. Is that Elliot kills Estes, then the money goes to the fake Teresa and then ends up in Elliot's pocket. Cliff reports that the Lavells had moved into the home only 1 month ago, and Ben finds a typewriter but no materials. All right. Ben finds typewriter materials but no typewriter. So much like Tyler Hudson had to do in an earlier episode, Cliff's got to strap on the scuba gear and go look for the typewriter. And
even though he says he won't.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He found one. Yeah, at least Tyler held out for more money.
Mm-hmm.
So they compare the letters and the typewriter ribbon, and they find out that the letter G always falls off. The bottom folds off. And so that Teresa's letters had to come from the typewriter. Ben calls Teresa and sets up an appointment. And then we see a scene where Teresa flips out because she thinks Ben knows everything.
He's figured it out.
We got to figure something out. So they set up a meeting, and Stu and Teresa are on the beach. They meet a mystery man who shoots both point blank.
You like the gunshot special sound effect?
Nice, thank you. So the Lavells are dead, And unfortunately, I wanted to know what happened to Jake the dog, man. He went to the kennel, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Poor dog.
Poor dog. I know. I agree. Cliff and Ben believe that Estes set everything up. The person who hired them, the person that killed the Lavells, they were con artists from Texas. Somebody's manipulating everything here. So Ben calls Elliot and finds out that he's at the zoo where the three bad guys are having a meeting when Ben and Leanne show up. And they basically lay out how they think things went down. And Elliot gets so upset and so mad that he throws them out of his office, or out of the office, because I believe it's Ron's office. I love this quip. Ben and Leanne are walking down a hall. Ben says, This court case is going to be in probate until 2010. Future prediction. Whoop, whoop. Leanne and Ben watch Nick. And then there's a scene where Rick is eating lunch with Leanne and Ben. Guess what they're having?
What?
Hot dogs.
That's right, John. Hot dogs. I wasn't paying attention, I don't think, during this episode because I don't remember hot dogs.
Yeah.
At least during this part, I mean.
So basically, they talk about, Rick talks about Nick. And then Billy interrupts. He's getting sued for $5 million because of the toy that caught on fire. So then we also go to a scene where Cliff is going undercover at the zoo. And basically, we see a scene where he introduces himself to Nick. And he's like, you need somewhere to stay. You can just stay in the maintenance building. No big deal.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, that's very, very nice until we find out what happens. Elliot and Ron, they are actually diamond thieves and diamond dealers. We see that, in which I thought they're doing it right out in the open. That's not a very safe way to go, if you ask me.
No, you're supposed to do it in a sketchy alley.
Yes, absolutely, where no one can see you.
Yes, and have goons protect you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This episode was very low on the goon quota.
Yes, and I'm going to take a swig while you take a quick shot about explaining where folks can get in touch with us.
You guys can email us where I can find goons ourselves at benmattalk@gmail.com. I think John's a guy who could use a few goons.
I would love to have a few goons. That would be awesome.
Skating around the rink.
Yeah, that's right. So Nick and Elliot chat, and Cliff is seen listening by Ron, and they talk about this llama business. So Leanne comes back to the zoo again, and she talks with Nick, and she talks about how he ended up buying a place in Costa Rica. That's not cheap, even in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
So Billy shows up at Ben's home. He's worried about the case, but Ben's not there. Cliff is there. Billy and Cliff argue, and then Billy is asked to deliver a note to Ben prior to Billy's court case, and it's all about a llama, which nobody understands. Billy is on the stand. Ben paints him as a dummy, and guess what? Because he's a dummy, the judge is like, you don't know what you were signing up for. Case dismissed.
He does too. And he's like, Ben, you made me look like an idiot. Thank you. We had very minimal references to his sister in this episode.
I know. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, I think. Yeah.
References.
Yeah.
Mainly because of how riled up it gets you.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey. Leanne and Ben, they go to the Lavells' home. They had just recently opened a checking account when they moved in, but there's no evidence of anything other than an answering machine that has a message from somebody that's either Australian or English. All right. Someone drops a snake in Cliff's bunk. By the way, side note, the snake was not a biting snake. It wasn't like a python. It was a boa constrictor. And they actually edited in the rattle for the rattlesnake. They edited that in post-production.
Oh, wow.
So there was no harm, I guess, to the stuntman because, it was more of a contracting type of snake rather than a biting type of snake. So Cliff wakes up in some animal pit and he sees the llama delivered. So Cliff does what anyone would do by letting it loose. And so all we see is this funny scene of Cliff walking the llama through town. What we find out is that Cliff took the llama to a vet, and the llama is 100% healthy. There's nothing, there's no diamonds inside of him or anything like that. Ben is leaving for Texas. I liked how he said 20 minutes was enough time to get to the airport. And I am envious because I left 3 hours before I had to go to the airport to avoid traffic and to also make my time of my flight. So,
did you see that loved ones can now walk you past the security checkpoint again?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. For you youngsters out there, that used to be a thing.
It used to be a big thing.
Yeah, and now they're back. That's cool. I did not know that. So Billy shows up as Ben is leaving. He gives Ben flowers, and Billy said that he's helping Ben to be a better person. And Ben goes, "Well, I guess I will just be a jackass and catch my plane." So he was not hearing it from Billy. The 3 bad guys see Cliff return with the llama, and Cliff gives some BS story about what happened to the llama and it got out. And of course, Nick believes him. But the other 2 bad guys are still kind of a little bit leery of what just happened. So Cliff and Leanne converse about the llama. And then Leanne and Lieutenant Andrews confront Nick and Elliot. Nick takes Andrews and Leanne to see Cliff, and Elliot gets upset again. "What are you guys doing? Why are you running us down? You're making things much more difficult. This is ridiculous. This is silly, etc., etc." So Leanne finds diamonds in the actual bar of the llama's cage. All right. It was not the llama itself. So the llama didn't ingest anything. My question is, how did she know? And I know you're going to say it's that whimsical tale that her dad told her, but still, I'm like, that's really a stretch. In order to just unscrew them, and there they are.
It's a huge stretch.
It is. Ben ends up in Texas. He goes to a bar. The bartender doesn't know the Lavells. He says, "I don't know what you're talking about." But Ben's like, no. I heard a message where you, with your accent and the construction out front and the noise of the bar and everything, it's got to be you, pal. All right. So the question becomes, does Estes actually know about the diamonds? Or was this something that was happening without his knowledge? They find on the boat, they being Ben and Cliff, they find a scuba mask that has prescription goggles, or prescription lenses, I should say, in them.
Mm-hmm.
So go back to the courtroom. Ron is on the stand. He claims not to know anything about Teresa, but he allowed the plan to unfold without telling Estes the truth. So basically, Ron said, I kept him, even though he was friends with me, I kept Marvin in the dark. The bartender is in cahoots with Ron and the Lavells. And Ben runs down the evidence with Ron's plot, found the scuba mask on the boat. The mask was grabbed. The mask that was grabbed was the wrong one. So Ron, when the night of the murder, grabbed the wrong ones. He set his down and took the other ones. And so basically that seals the deal for Ron, and that ends the court case, for Rick and for Rick, And then, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Rick, Leanne, and Ben, they eat hot dogs at the end, not at their first meal, in which then Billy shows up and wants to give another flower to Ben. And Rick says that 27 relatives want a piece of the money. So they got a whole host of issues before Ben ever gets his money. And then Billy yells about fixing the plumbing in the kitchen, which, of course, as everybody rushes to the kitchen, it all goes kaplooey thanks to Billy. And that, my friends, is the episode called The Fortune. Jason, is there anything else we got to talk about?
No, John. I don't think so. We can get into our closing statements. That feels like the wrong gavel. How many gavels are on here? Like, there's gavels all over the place. I'm deleting the gavels as I find the wrong ones. All right, there we go. So we just have this.
Folks, as you found out a dirty secret here, our soundboard here is a little bit disgruntled, if you will.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm finding out that there's sound effects and StreamYards. That's why the gunshot, but the gunshot fit in the moment because they died by. Anyway, I guess I give this episode 3.5 because it was a fine episode. Did it run a little long? I think it did. I do like that at least when we see Billy, that his story with Ben is consistent. You can't poke any holes into their relationship like you can with some of the others. And I love continuity in television, especially now. And back then there wasn't a lot of it. So the fact that there's just a little bit between these two characters definitely earned some points for me. John, what did you think I rated it?
I thought you rated it a 4.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I thought it's so wacky enough that you would have liked it. Yeah. So what do you think about me? What did you say I gave?
A 2, John. I think you gave it a 2.
And you're right, I gave it a 2. I didn't like this episode very much at all. There's too much in the plot. You know, the whole Teresa is not really real. Estes made her up. They were lovers. They weren't lovers. She's real. She's not real. There's diamonds involved. Billy's case. This really should have been 2 separate episodes, or they should have just trimmed out the whole Billy in the toy and the court case deal. I did like that Cliff was on the show a lot, and that Ben was a smart aleck, and his interaction with Billy. I do definitely give you props on that, Jason. I think it is a very solid relationship as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thought you gave it a 2 because Billy Lewis was in the episode.
No. Billy brought some good comedy to it, but again, I would have cut that part out and just made it all one episode right off the bat.
And that is why he was wrong, folks, and I am right. And you guys can email us at benmattalk@gmail.com. John, what is going on with the PVD cast, and when does my lovely appearance air?
Your lovely appearance will air sometime in January, but I knew you were gonna say that. You don't want that to come out. Like you don't want that episode to be published anyways. It's gonna give you like a complex that you lost the competition.
At least it was close, and I get blown out of the water. And that's spoilers, guys. Wow. But I didn't even say what I did. I just gave a hand motion.
Okay. Anyways, PVD cast. I'm on break by the time this episode airs. I'm going to Rhode Island to visit mom and stepdad and just spend a little quality time with them and just relax a little bit. So, but new episodes of the PVD cast will drop January 8th. So you have that to look forward to. And Jason, what's going on with the 3 Geeks podcast?
We are off from our live show for the year, but don't worry. We're still going to have tons of shorts, interviews coming out through the end of the year. Maybe a big binge watch list. We'll see. And obviously, MatTalk is still on its normal schedule. So nothing different there, guys. Just follow us at 3 Geeks Podcast, at 3 Geeks J. Oh my God, so much happening that I can't hold.
Thank you for being a friend.
So lots of stuff happening. I just so happy. Gonna bring John and Angel in to pitch hit a few interviews with us next year, and I'm super excited.
Yes, I'm excited for it too, man. And congrats on that. So All right. Well, before we close out the show, I hope everybody's having a happy holidays or had a happy holidays, depending on when this drops. So be safe out there. Enjoy the company of your friends and family and your loved ones, and just have a happy holiday, man, if you haven't done so already.
Yep. And as they say in court,
Nothing further.